How do people actually survive on such low incomes? It's like playing Russian roulette. You close your eyes and hope the car doesn't break down and your immune system doesn't fail you. It's living under constant stress, knowing that one wrong move means the end of whatever fragile life you've managed to pull together. This is part of why we have a massive mental health crisis. People are under constant stress and anxiety. It leads to depression, anxiety disorders, addiction, crime. If you're looking for a more practical answer, they survive off welfare programs, charity, family, community assistance, and constantly denying themselves basic needs. If you qualify for food stamps plus Medicaid, it's a lot easier. You also can get energy assistance and cheaper internet. Rent assistance and low-income housing exists too. I'm a poor person who got by on like $22,000 with my family of 4. 2 adults plus 2 babies. We didn't really eat out. We home-cooked most of our meals. We did our own repairs. We didn't go shopping for non-necessities. Our 2 phones cost $50 total a month, and are paid off. Cars are paid off and were junkers that usually lasted a year. And they resold for most of the cost back. We only had cheap vacations and cheap activities. It wasn't an easy life. But it wasn't that difficult. Don't get me wrong, I'm talking about surviving. We definitely were not thriving. But we were happy. At 40, I moved back in with my parents. They had rented a house a few years before that was only $700 a month. Not bad at the time. 10 years later, the rent is $900. The landlord had the mortgage paid off a long time ago, so he doesn't care about charging market rate. This living situation enabled me to recover from a divorce and extended unemployment, as well as severe depression. I could now afford a nice place on my own. But I feel that would just be stupid. Besides saving money, I like being around to look after my elderly parents. I don't know if anyone who's surviving on a single income, even people like me who earn enough, are choosing roommates because rent prices are just too high. With as many people whose credit tanked during the recession, then again during COVID, getting a decent rate and payment on a house isn't always an option. I've been wondering the exact same thing lately. Depression. And making jokes about it while we sit in silence panicking but pretend we're fine in front of others because it's taboo, or embarrassing, to talk about the terrible reality we're living through every day. If I never went out to eat, never went to the movies or a bar, never ordered something on Amazon, drove an old beater car, never fixed up my house, never bought a new computer or laptop, had roommates, shopped at Goodwill, didn't have kids, etc., I could live pretty cheaply. I make $450 a week at my labor job. Rent is $2,000 a month, which is my month's income. So I can't move out of my parents anytime soon. But my health insurance monthly is only $8. No big screen TV. Old or no cell phone. No cable or streaming. Old car. No eating out. Multiple roommates. It can be done. $600 a week is actually solid depending on your region. I am in pretty severe debt. I no longer ran capable of making my credit card payment. I have to skip at least one bill every month. All of my time is consumed. Stuck in a terrible cycle. Already in affordable housing. So it's not like I can do much better. If I wasn't making car payments I would be alright. I had to trade my last car that I was 1 year from paying off because it needed a major repair and I wasn't going to be able to pay it. My new car has slightly higher monthly costs. I am overall struggling to get ahead. It's the first year I wasn't able to buy a single Christmas present. You would be shocked at how much you can optimize your spendings if your only alternative is starving to death under a bridge. There is still kind of a floor to how much you can survive on though. But it's super variable from case to case depending on location, health, dependence, etc. A lot of people just barely spend. They don't buy anything new, ever. They'll clip coupons as if their life depended on it. They'll be open to any sort of trade where possible. They'll accept help from family as well. So when you make that little, you're not too good for things like hand-me-downs. They'll live with roommates, and if possible get a second job. Another factor is what I'd call social currency. I say I call it that. I think that may be the actual term for it, but I don't know for sure. Generally, folks with not a lot of money will in turn place much more care and value on social relationships. This is a known and documented thing. 2. It is because their social network becomes a safety net as well. So for example, you make $400 a week. Your junker car breaks down. It needs a repair that at any shop would cost at least $500. You don't have it, but hold on. Your cousin, a best friend since childhood, who you still visit weekly, happens to be a mechanic. Other shops would want their money up front, cash or credit, but your cousin will do it for a pack of PBRs and your help spreading some mulch next weekend. He says find a part. And your old neighbor who you also talk to regularly happens to work at a junkyard and is willing to find that part for you, tuck it away on a shelf, and sell it to you for a steep discount. And he is willing to do this because you helped him move out. You paid in social currency. It wasn't free, but it was a price you could easily afford. I know that those without money often rely greatly on friends and family for help. Not necessarily in money, but in goods, services, and information. I'm on a forced vegetarian diet right now. Meat is too expensive. My house is cold because I can't afford to turn the heat up to a comfortable temperature. I don't go out, order takeout, or buy anything for my hobbies. I buy the cheapest version of everything except cat food. You find ways to make do. For example, I'm really good at scavenging and upcycling. 24K as a teacher? Damn, that's so bad. I remember growing up poor. Lived in a tiny apartment with my family of 5. Our household income was barely $30K. We shopped the cheapest items on Walmart. Never bought new clothes. I mean, never. And had used cars with nearly 100K miles on them. My sister and I shared deodorant and a tiny room. If we didn't have money for gas, we didn't go anywhere. We worked all day. 401K? Don't know her. Going to the movies was a luxury. Never had family vacations. Thankfully we never had a medical emergency that would have bankrupted us. I also graduated college debt-free due to our low income and tons of scholarships. I'm 31 now and moved away from home. My partner and I make $200,000 together and we have no kids. It's night and day. It still feels weird looking back. I still feel the need to live precariously because it terrifies me going back to that life. I do think people are very wasteful with their money and live well above their means. Some people living paycheck to paycheck shouldn't be. It feels it's a serious mismanagement of their financials. There are, however, people legitimately living the way I did. That's harrowing. I make $50,000 yearly. After taxes it's basically nothing. I have budget planners and all and I still feel broke. I don't even pay rent and I'm stressed. How are people having babies and buying new cars and houses? In our home right now, I have 2 of my adult sons, 26 and 20, my sister, 46, me, my husband, and our 10-year-old daughter. Every adult but me has a full-time job. They pay rent to me and my husband and I do all of the shopping. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, and pet care. None of them could survive on their own. Rent and utilities were too high. They needed somewhere to go. And we have a 4-bedroom home. So we live like hippies on a commute full of cats, dogs, chickens. And that's how we survive. You develop survival skills and an understanding of how to budget. I can cook most things from scratch. I can fix vehicles and do most home repairs. I can hunt and fish when needed. Home remedies are useful when you can't afford a doctor's visit. Lots of debt. When things get rough. Medical bill, repair bill, etc. Go get a temp secondary part-time job. Been there, done that. Usually with help. Family or friends and/or government help. It sucks, but sometimes living at home with free to minimal rent is the only way to survive these days. There's some people living in their cars with decent jobs just because rent is too damn high. $500 average income in Russia for month. Not week. Some people survive for $100,200. One-room apartment rent $100 minimum. Old age pension $150. Same thing in other post-Soviet countries. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. TooAfraidToAsk is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.